So what's the difference between local SEO and regular SEO? How often should you be adding content like blogs to your website? And once your website starts ranking, can you stop SEO? We're going to answer those and other questions that local service business owners have when it comes to SEO coming up on the Marketing Domination Podcast. So what is the difference between local SEO and regular SEO? So it's the same thing. It's all about being found everywhere your customers are looking. So remember, SEO is typically search engine optimization. Here at Sean Garner Consulting, we like to say search everywhere optimization. So it's making sure that you are being seen everywhere your customers are looking. But a lot of times whenever people are saying this question, what they're meaning is the difference between where you show up on popular platforms like Google. So on Google, there's actually 5 different places that you can show up. We've done a whole episode about this, but the quick version is 2 of them you paid for, 3 of them you earn. You got LSA ads for certain industries. You got PPC or pay-per-click ads. You got AI overviews. You have the SERPs or the search engine result pages, which is what you see at the bottom. And then you have the map pack. So typically when people are talking about the difference between local SEO and regular SEO, they're talking about the difference between showing up in Google Maps and then showing up in SERPs or the search engine result pages. Now, in order to show up in those 2 different places, there are different ranking factors in order to determine who shows up where in those different places. So for example, for local service business owners, the most important place that you really want to focus on showing up for is that map pack. So that's the thing that shows up first whenever people are looking typically for services in a specific area. And so the main ranking factors for that are going to be proximity. So how close that person is to where they're doing the actual search, which guess what? You can't control that one. But the other ones you can. So the main ones that you can control and influence is how optimized is your Google business profile. So have you fully set it up? Do you have the right categories set up? Do you have the right services added up? Are you adding content to it on a regular basis? Is every part of it filled out? Are you adding images? Making sure that that is done, optimized, and continually adding content to it. The next one is reviews. Reviews are huge for local SEO. You want to make sure that you're constantly getting reviews, and where those reviews, if possible, are even optimized to where customers are adding images. They are talking about the specific service that you performed or the city that it was performed in. And then when you're replying to those reviews, you are doing the exact same thing. Hey, thank you so much for letting us to do your drain cleaning in your Tulsa home. And you're using those words in your responses. And then the last part is making sure that you are the landing page that is connected to that Google business profile is set up and optimized, and it's got a ton of authority inside of this. So for example, there's a lot of businesses service businesses that you might have multiple local or Google business profiles, but you don't want to have all of them sending to the exact same landing page. So we do this a lot with the home services. They may want to break into other markets. Well, your local business profile is typically only going to have a really strong range of anywhere from 10 to at most 20 miles. And if you're really struggling to break in, it's probably because you're in a very competitive market, or you need to open up another location. So you can open up other GBPs in the market you're trying to break into, because your one is only going to go so far because of proximity, especially if it's very competitive. Now, listen, there's been some clients that we've worked with where their GBP has like a 90-mile radius, but it's because they're in a very low competitive market. And so it's easy to do. If you're in a big city doing home services like plumbing, HVAC, electrician, or med spas or something like that, or in the medical services, there's going to be a lot of competition. You're not going to get that much range out of it, no matter how optimized it is, because proximity is key for this. So if you want to break into those other markets with local SEO, you need to open up other locations. So when you do that, what you typically want to do is we want to create specific city landing pages for where those Google business profiles are. So for example, if we've got Dallas and then we have Denton, Texas, well, we want to have each one of those would be like ourwebsite.com/Dallas, ourwebsite.com/Denton. And that is the link that you are using in your Google business profile. You're not sending all of those different profiles to just the main homepage. We want to make sure that the content that is relevant to the GBP or the Google business profile, the exact same thing that is on the landing page that they're going to, is connected to the Google business profile. Hopefully that clears it up for you. Now, the other part of that is how do we rank in regular SEO? We've done so many talks about that, about having a holistic SEO strategy. But the quick version is those 4 pillars of that holistic SEO is making sure that we've got our technical SEO set up. So we've got a solid foundation. We've got our UX or our user experience is really good and clean. We got a good converting website. So people are taking action once they do find our website and search. The third is we're adding content to it on a regular basis, whether that be blogs, landing pages, service pages to show Google and our search engines that we are knowledgeable and experts on our topic, and we're covering it from all the different angles with really good topical authority. And the fourth one is authority. We've got tons of backlinks and citations and everything showing that our website is trustworthy. So we need to have all of those in place to make sure that we're ranking in the search engine results. So like where you see the titles and the names and stuff like that, that's where we want to rank. And so the stronger that page is though, that can help influence your Google business profile ranking as well. But those two things are not the same. So you can see some businesses where maybe they're ranking number one in search, but they're not showing up in the map pack because maybe they don't have a ton of reviews, but they got a lot of authority. Or you see a lot of the inverse where you see websites or businesses that are newer that are ranking up higher in the map pack, maybe because they've got more reviews than some legacy businesses that have been on there, but they don't have that site authority built up. So they're not showing up high in the search engine ranking. So that's the difference between those two things. You got to do different things to rank in both of those, but a good holistic SEO strategy should cover both of those if your SEOs know what they're doing. So the next question is, how often should I be publishing SEO content? So a lot of times when people are meaning this, they're talking about blogs, right? So we always want to be adding content to our website on a regular basis. It should not just be a build it out once and then we're done. Like we said earlier, one of those pillars of SEO, that holistic SEO strategy, is content. So we want to make sure that we're always adding content to our website on a regular basis. Now, we don't want to just throw slop up there. We want to make sure we build what's called topical authority. So in the eyes of Google and these large language models like ChatGPT, we want to show that we're covering the topic from every different angle. We're not just like stuffing a bunch of keywords on a landing page or a blog article and then thinking that it's going to work. Now, we have to show that we're experts. So we're having a unique perspective on the article. The best way I have found for creating like blog style content, especially if you're not a writer, is to speak it out. So for us, on our website, all of our blog content comes from these podcast episodes. So that way I don't have to sit there and write a whole blog article. I can talk about a topic, and then my copy team, they will take everything that I talk about, extract that, and they'll turn that into blog articles. That helps us a lot. If you don't have a podcast, what you can do is just record a Loom video even and just talk about a topic and how you would do things. Take that transcript and you can use that to spin it up into blog articles that are unique to you. Please, 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 please do not think you are doing content writing for your business just by going to ChatGPT and say, write me an article about Botox in my city, and thinking that's going to do well and it's going to rank. It's not, because it's not unique. It's going to be something that they crawled off of every other website. We want to be the stuff that people are crawling because we're writing the unique content. So that's what you want to do to make sure that you're adding the content. Now, we do also want to make sure that we're always adding location pages, service pages, subservice pages as we're adding new abilities and everything to our business, and making sure that we're, again, covering our business from every angle. Part of SEO, or not part, the whole thing about SEO is being clear and proving it to Google and these crawlers why you should rank where you want to rank. So they need to know everything that's happening in the real world has to be articulated online. So it doesn't matter what you know in your head. It matters what you know in your head and that you're allowing to be translated on your website. All those years and decades of experience, all the successful testimonials that you've had, all the services that you provide, if it's not on your website in that clear order or optimized order, Google, these crawlers, they're not going to know, so they're not going to show your content. That's the whole point of what SEO is taking that stuff, optimizing it so you can prove to Google clearly why you deserve to rank where you are. So how often you should do it? I believe at least minimum of once a week. You can't overdo this if you start dumping too much content on your website too fast. I think daily is a little excessive, but at least 1 to 2 times a week is a really good cadence to be in. We typically like to do at least weekly articles for all of our clients, up to 2 to 3 articles, depending on how big their website is, how competitive the market is, and how much content they're just creating on top of it. Us, for example, on our agency website, we're posting, I think, on average 4 to 5 pages of content, but it's a lot of content we're putting out from the podcast, show notes, blog post over the podcast, also all the podcast episodes that I'm guests on, webinars, training, and stuff that we do. So we're able to do all that and it still be fresh, unique content to what we do. So quality matters, but I would at least shoot for at least once a week. Most small business owners have a website, but it doesn't actually work. And if your site isn't bringing you in leads or making you money, it's just an online brochure. That's why I created the Click to Client website wireframe template. It's the exact framework we use with clients to design homepages that grab attention, guide visitors, and turn them into paying customers. You'll see the 10 must-have sections every homepage needs laid out step by step so you can finally have a site that works. Download it free today at SeanGarner.co/website wireframe. Now, back to the show. This is a good question because it's actually really thoughtful, I think, and it can help clarify what people think about SEO and how it actually works. Can I stop SEO once I'm ranking number one? Like, can I stop it? Great question. I love the thought process. One thing that I think that is most people don't understand is what SEO is and how it works. So it's not a one-time and done thing. So it's about optimizing, right? So you got to think about this. I was actually talking to a client today that's brand new. They're like, well, we just built this new website. We just added all of these words on our website. How come it's not ranking yet? Well, if it was that easy, every business would do that, right? They would just go to their website and they would just type in, Botox services or hormone therapy and just add these magic words on their website. And all of a sudden it would be showing up number one. But it doesn't work that way, right? Google, their job is they're trying to show the most relevant result for their customers, that they want to make sure that there's an algorithm and that everything is optimized to do this. So you have to realize with that means it's never going to be done, because then as soon as you could get to the top, you could just sit back and kick back. Like, nah, I'm number one. Nobody can catch me. It doesn't work like that, because there's always competition that is doing this at the same time. So when you can stop doing SEO, how long it's going to take has everything to do with where you're starting at, where your competition's starting at, how much you're doing, and how much they're doing. Because if you're down here below them on the rankings and the authority and the content, and they're up here, and you guys are both creating the exact same amount of content and backlinks and everything on your website each week, well, that gap between you is always going to be there. So if you do rank where you really want to rank, you can't stop, I don't believe, but you may be able to slow down if your competition isn't doing anything. But if they're continually doing things and they eventually end up passing you, well, that's where you're going to be behind the eight ball, as they say. And we want to make sure that we're not doing that. We truly want to dominate. We want to get to the top. And then we want to be so far ahead of our competition that it makes it almost impossible for them to catch back up to us. And so in order to do that, we have to always be doing it. Now, we don't have to do it maybe at the initial volume that we're doing wherever we're first starting out, but you should always be doing that, because all SEO is making sure your website's technically sound, making sure that it converts well, making sure that you're adding information to it to prove your expertise and authority, and then making sure that you've got other links pointing to it because you're a trustworthy person. So in the real world, you want to make sure your foundation is always set. You want to make sure that people always have a good experience when they drive in. You want to make sure that you're always learning, and you want to make sure you're always getting referrals. The same thing in the SEO world. We can't just stop it whenever we want. We have to always be doing it so we can continue to win and dominate our industry. Next is, why did my rankings drop suddenly? So maybe you were ranking a certain position, or you were at number one, and then all of a sudden you see your rankings drop and you don't know why. Well, there's a couple ways to kind of look into this and troubleshoot. So one is, it's always good to know is like, was there been a recent Google core algorithm update, for example? Like has Google changed stuff? Did they roll out something new and maybe they have penalized your website, or they just reclassified or re-rank how your website should be? So whenever you see rankings drop, yes, as the business owner, that can be frustrating. You can freak out like, I don't understand why it's not showing. Is that a short-term thing, or is that a long-term? Are they slowly just going down over time? If it's slowly, continually going down consistently over time, you've got an issue. If it was just a 1 day or 1 week thing and then they're bouncing back up, don't worry about that. That was probably just like a weird algorithm thing. We'll see big, huge spikes or drops with clients, often with as many websites as we have access to. If we just see a 1 day, or a couple day spike or dip, and then it comes back up and it normalizes, okay, that's just the algorithm shifting. But if you're seeing on your business everything starting to go down, from impressions, from clicks, from ranking reports, that means that something is very, very wrong. So typically you got some type of a technical issue to where maybe you recently updated your website and you changed your domain and you didn't realize it. A common thing I see a lot of times with clients is a simple thing from going like the www to the non-www version of their website. They don't realize that can do it. They'll change the URL. Their website visually looks the same, but they might change just the web address on there. That, in the eyes of Google, means you just completely got a new website. And so if you don't properly go into the back of like Google Search Console, transfer everything over and move that stuff, that's going to completely hurt your rankings. But then another thing, and this is where we like to be on the opposite end of this for our clients, maybe a competition came into town and they're spending a lot more money on SEO, and so they're passing you. So a lot of times it might not mean that, kind of going back to the last question, can I stop it? Well, no, you can't. This proves it, because what can happen is competition can come in and they can take over some of that real estate, because that's what we love to see for our clients is whenever there's some industries that have gotten and markets that have gotten lazy, we can sneak in there, we can work out hard, and we can bust them through really quick and get really great results. We actually just did this with a client, PJ Doors. They're a garage door company in Richmond, Indiana. And there's been tons of legacy businesses in the area that hadn't been doing SEO for a long time, even though they had been in business for 15, 20 plus years. Well, these guys, in just a matter of 90 days, we got them to rank number one in almost like a 25 or 30 mile radius, just because the competition had let their foot off the gas. They got comfortable and complacent. They didn't see these new guys come in and hire an awesome agency that just went to work and made things happen. So if your rankings drop, most likely there's something wrong with your website. Your strategy is broken. You've stopped doing SEO, or a big competitor has moved into town. So you don't want that to happen. That's why you always keep doing SEO. Next question is, how do I know if my SEO company is lying to me? This is my big frustration, and I'm getting so frustrated with my industry sometimes, because it's becoming, honestly, the used car salesman of the digital world. And so there's a lot of people that think that they're buying SEO, or agencies are doing SEO, but because customers and clients aren't educated on what SEO really is, they don't understand what it is that they're paying for. They think that they're doing SEO, but just like we talked about holistic SEO strategy, they're not getting the whole thing. So they're not really going to be seeing results. So that somebody might just be paying for SEO services and they're getting technical SEO monitoring and reporting. Well, that's not really going to move the needle. That's just going to make sure that what you have isn't broken. And so if you truly want to get good results with SEO, you need to be doing that whole SEO strategy, just like we do for our clients at Sean Garner Consulting. So one of the things that I think that every business should do, if you have an SEO agency working with you, is there should be transparency. You should be able to see access to everything. They should not be keeping ownership access to the reporting tools, Google Search Console, Google Analytics. You should have direct access to all of that stuff. You shouldn't have to go through them to get it. There should be some type of reporting dashboard that you're always able to see what's going on with your website. There should be some type of at least quarterly meeting cadence with them, if not more than that, to where you're talking to them and they're explaining what it is that they're doing and the results that you're getting from it. Because a lot of times they'll just throw out all these big words that just to try and confuse clients, but it should be very simple. Here's the things that we did. Here's the results that we're seeing, and to be able to prove those results through their reporting and everything that they're seeing. And so to know if they're lying to you is one, you have to be educated. So that's awesome. I'm so glad you're listening to a podcast like this, where we love teaching others, local service business owners, what good marketing looks like and how to dominate your industry. So that way you can hold the agencies that you work with accountable. Because this is your baby, this is your business. And so you want to make sure that you're not wasting your money, time, and resources into having an agency help you. You need to make sure that they're implementing a holistic SEO strategy so you can grow your business and you're not just paying for things and it's not getting done. So I will give you the quick version on SEO. If they are not adding pages to your website on a monthly basis, they're missing out on a big opportunity. If they are not adding backlinks to your website on a regular basis, you're missing a big opportunity. Those are the two biggest needle movers for SEO. The other stuff, your technical SEO and your UX or your user experience, those are kind of one-time done things. Or as you continually add content to your website, you do have to go back and do those things. But if that's all they're doing is just like, oh yeah, technical SEO and reporting and keyword tracking, that's just giving you reports. It's not moving the needle. If you want to move your needle in your SEO, you've got to be adding content, got to be adding backlinks. And from a local SEO standpoint, they've got to be helping you to get reviews and then optimize your Google business profile, adding images and posting and everything to that to help make sure that it's always continually growing in. So if you've been frustrated by this stuff because maybe you've tried to do it on your own, your rankings are falling down, you're not able to add content to everything on a regular basis, or you got an agency that's just not really giving you the results that you want, we would love the opportunity to work with you at Sean Garner Consulting. We help local service business owners grow their business and dominate their industry so you can work with and serve the people that you are called to serve. If you'd love to work with us, we'd love to talk to you. Go to our website, seangarner.co, book a call with me. I will personally do a deep dive audit on your website. We'll look at your SEO. We'll see exactly how things are performing. We'll see if it's a good fit for us to work together so we can help you stand out online. Have an awesome day. We'll talk soon.